Fine motor skills and Down syndrome. Fine motor skills refer to performing functional tasks through small movements of the hands, wrists, and fingers, and include activities such as drawing and printing, cutting with scissors, working with fasteners such as buttons or zippers, and eating with utensils. The building blocks of fine motor development are tactile perception, postural control, bilateral coordination, and dexterity. Children will best learn skills through performing meaningful activities. Tactile perception involves sensory receptors sending information to the brain about what we are feeling and touching. This includes sensations of light touch, pressure, vibration, temperature, and pain. Touch sensation enables us to feel things and to understand what we feel, making it an important component of fine motor development. Tactile perception helps children learn to guide their finger movements so that fine motor skills can be more automatic. If a child isn't getting adequate sensory feedback from their hands and fingers, it is very hard to be accurate with them. Difficulties with tactile perception can manifest in different ways. For example, a child may appear clumsy and have difficulty holding small objects without dropping them. They might also squeeze writing tools very tightly so they can feel them better. Postural control refers to our ability to sustain an upright posture for sitting, standing, and performing functional tasks. Low muscle tone, decreased strength, and hypermobility, prevalent in children with Down syndrome, contribute to reduced postural control. For children with Down syndrome, these physical factors make it more difficult to stabilize themselves to meet the demands of an activity. A stable base of support allows one to coordinate effective movement of the arms, hands, and fingers. Postural control is important for effective writing, drawing, and cutting skills. It also supports us to sit up in a chair without slouching, sit cross-legged on the floor, and use an appropriate amount of pressure when holding a pencil and pressing down on the paper. A child with poor postural control will fatigue more easily, as their muscles are working harder to keep them upright. This is why supported seating is central to facilitating success with fine motor skills for children with Down syndrome. Bilateral coordination refers to the ability to coordinate both sides of the body at the same time in a controlled and organized manner. Stabilizing the paper with one hand while writing and cutting with the other is an example of this. Good bilateral integration and coordination is an indicator that both sides of the brain are communicating effectively and sharing information. This supports an awareness of the two sides of the body, selection of one side as dominant, and the ability to discriminate between our left and right sides. The developmental trajectory of bilateral coordination generally progresses through the following stages. First, gross symmetric bilateral skills, which is holding objects with two hands, clapping, and banging objects together. Secondly, stabilizing objects with one hand while manipulating with the other. So things like holding a container with one hand while putting an object in it with the other. And then lastly, complementary two-hand use, which refers to manipulating objects with both hands simultaneously. Dexterity refers to skillful, precise, and efficient hand movements. Dexterity is important for functional tasks such as dressing, feeding, and school-related activities like printing, coloring, and cutting. It comes into play in a number of ways: for grasp, for pencil or utensil use, for finger control and coordination, and for hand and wrist movements. So the muscles of the hands need to work well together to effectively manipulate small objects and need to have enough strength to grasp objects. Being able to rotate the wrist is important for the positioning of the hand properly for functional skills such as writing and drawing.